What's up? What's good? Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Saturday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. Hope each and every one of you are doing great. And I hope you guys are having a great week and weekend. If you could please hit that like button, subscribe button, and that bell notification button so you get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option. You know what I'm saying, dog. But hit that goddamn like button. Easy to do. Helps the algorithm. Terry, what's up? Diane, what is up? W, what up? Jerry, what up? Hugh, what up? One like, man. We got to get those likes up. Couldn't miss this one. You know what I'm saying? We are here. So, uh, I don't have anything specifically that I want to talk about, but whatever you guys want to talk about today, that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm saying, W. Lacking. But it's getting up there. I appreciate you guys, man. I'm just messing with you at the end of the day. Jerry, man, I'm doing well, brother. Uh, I've been working a lot lately, but I'm doing well. Larry, what's up, man? How you doing, bud? Just living the dream, my friend. You know, one day at a time. Life is kind of crazy right now, just on a day to day, what's going on in the world. And sometimes I think we get too much information. That's why I try to limit the amount of time that I'm online. That's why I've taken myself pretty much completely uh, off of all social media. I mean, I do have an Instagram account, but it's been months and months and months since I've been on there. Um, yeah. So I just think that when you spend your life in front of a screen, you actually miss living, and you start mixing it up with real life, and it becomes reality when a lot of it is crazy and nothing and nonsensical. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. Matt Y. Shout out to Saskatchewan, man. Steve, what's up, my brother? How you doing? But it sets the beauty standards out of control, and it puts all this pressure on young women that's really hard for them. And then, you have your typical keyboard warriors and stuff who become something that they're not because they feel comfortable behind a keyboard. And there's a lot of those people. Um, it kind of gives them a platform to be able to speak, uh, which is what it's about. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that just troll, take advantage of ruining people's days, or uh, so you gotta limit your intake of that stuff. And I used to really look at the comments like really harshly, and I used to get really upset when people said things. Let's see if I can make it work better. But yeah, the thing about it is, though, you need the internet to function. You need it. It's super duper duper important. If you want to be able to network and make money uh, to that, you're definitely going to be lacking, and you're going to fall behind. You know, that is a fact. So, uh, yeah, it's just kind of finding a healthy balance. Hey, Matt, what's up? Saeed, what's up? What do you think about North America almost about to go to war with the Russians? I don't think it's almost about to go to war with the Russians, to be honest. I think that they're already at war with the Russians. I think that um, it's a crazy situation, and it's something that despite the fact we don't really want to see, we have to pay attention to, because it could definitely impact and does impact our lives. It's a horrible thing to see anytime you see war. Um, but when you see stuff about war online, a lot of the time it's fake, it's propaganda. It's from one side talking down about the other, this side talking down about this. Some videos are from past wars. It's not even real. So it's hard to just say, John Clark, what's up? Hi, brother. Been watching your channel for a while. You came a long way. It seems I did most of my time at Hamilton and did a Fin in the Bay when I was 18. Joe Bob, shout out to you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I know Hamilton is a place where if you do time there, it's not the gentlest place. And I know Hamilton dudes always had a pretty substantial squad when I was in the pen, for sure. But I never did time in the Bay personally. So maybe one day we could have you on for an interview, my brother. Oh, Diana, honestly, if there's a nuclear attack, good riddance to all of us, I guess. For sure. If you ever want to do an interview down the road, for sure. Yeah, I would like that, Joe Bob. We'd have to have a conversation first and set the standards for the interview. And then, yeah, that's definitely a possibility. It's up to you, of course. But I would like to definitely get back into the interviews. The only reason why I really haven't is because I'm so apprehensive to go on social media. I just hate it. Honestly, I hate it. But I understand that in order to communicate, in order to set the interviews up, it basically has to be done through social media, right? Because you're not going to post your phone number online, right? So it's pretty much the only way that you got to do it. So, but nuclear war is terrifying to me. It's not even the bombs that are the scariest, it's the after effects. It's the nuclear winter. It wouldn't be a fun thing, for sure. And any situation like that, even a natural catastrophe like a comet hitting the planet or whatever, would have a similar effect, like the nuclear winter effect, blocking out the sun and killing everything slowly. If those bombs start going off all around the world, that's what will happen. The people, of course, in the epicenter of it, it won't be a slow death, but for everybody else, it will. The fallout. My son was transferred to Millhaven about a week ago in the assessment unit. I was told he is no longer there. How do I find out where he is? What do you mean? He was sent from Joyceville to Millhaven, or he's in the assessment unit in Millhaven? Did you get sober before the fentanyl epidemic? So when I stopped doing hard drugs was just before it really kicked off. It was starting to, but from TDSC. What is TDSC? Toronto South? So that means he's a max. He's a max case, because if he wasn't max, he would have went to Joyceville. So he's going to go to Millhaven. He's either going to stay in Millhaven or he's going to go to Collins Bay, one or the other. Okay, Toronto South, yeah. That's exactly what's going to happen. So I don't know what kind of time he's doing and how long he's expected to be in for, but yeah, so he'll either go from the Haven to the Bay, one or the other. In Canada, when you're on federal parole, one of the conditions is to look or maintain employment. 100%. In very few cases will they overlook that. Like maybe in a case where there's a lot of mental health going on, there's a disability situation, but they would still probably want you to have some kind of a part-time job or volunteer or do something like that, or have at least something positive that you're doing with your time. But yes, so the conditions that are typically standard would be maintain and seek employment, do not associate or with anybody actively involved in criminal activities. So it's not with a criminal record, because that's too many people. The federal system specifies differently. It's anybody actively involved. So nobody who's on probation, parole, bail, anything like that. You can't be around them. Or if you're ever in a situation where somebody is arrested with you, despite the fact that you are not breaking the law, you're going to jail for the association. Are inmates allowed conjugal visits in Canada? Yes, 100%. Every 6 weeks, you'll have access to a 3-day PFV, which is a private family visit. Paychecks, what's up, man? Hope you and your family are blessed too. You ever hear of a judge giving more time than a plea deal? So I've never specifically heard of it, although I know it happens. It's rare. If the Crown has a joint submission with a lawyer, the judge will honor that, because typically the Crown is trying to hammer you, right? They're not typically trying to give you less than what they feel you deserve. So usually the judge will side with the Crown, right? So if the Crown is okay with the joint submission, then typically the judge will accept. But there's cases where that won't happen. Like if you say, I'm pleading guilty, but I'm not guilty, I didn't do it, then sometimes the judge will say he's not going to accept it. Or if he thinks it's not enough, he can just push the case off to somebody else. And a lot of the time, that's what they do. Thank you. My man is waiting trial currently on house arrest. That sucks. Good luck to him. Don't worry, 905 to 416. What's good, my brother? Terry, no worries, man. That's what I'm here for. Matt, have you had parole problems and said it's just worth it to finish your time? I would definitely say that I want to get out, right? Like, no doubt. Like, when you're in the circumstance, you typically would want your opportunity. But once you start getting caught up in the hamster wheel, right? When it's violation after violation, they're looking for things like suspicion of being suspicious, or, they're constantly hitting you with your analysis, stuff like that. Then it can get overwhelming. It can get to a point where you may not feel like you want to do it anymore, and it'll just be easier to go do your thing. Also, in Canada, can the parole officer show up at your house unannounced? 100%. And I was on team supervision, which is a higher version of parole. So they can do curfew checks and home checks anytime they want, man. And there was this Fed that used to come to my house. He was 6'9", and he would act like, the good cop, bad cop. He would act like the good cop. And then there's this little guy that was always with him that was just a prick, right? And they'd literally knock on my door anytime before like 11:30 at night. Go get your paperwork. I want to see it. And if you don't have your card and your paperwork, violation. Crazy, right? Sorry. Yo, Mike, Stealth Parrot, what up? Therapy for Cons, the new Matt Clark. You already know, playa. Nick, what's up, my brother? Newborn Assassin, Wagwan. Hold on a second. Sorry, I had to tell him to stop. So when so when you get out, Diane, they give you a piece, like a piece of paper with your conditions. It'll also have your boundaries, because everybody has a 20-mile radius um, area that they can go. So, say for instance, you get released to Toronto, that is where you have to be. You can't be in York region. You can't be in Peel region. You are outside of your boundaries, and that's a violation. You know what I mean? So, uh, that just kind of is what it is. But you have to have that on you at all time. It'll have your conditions, and then they give you a little ID card, which has your picture, your height, everything, you know. And if you actually have to offer that up before they ask for it. So if, say for instance, you're the passenger in a vehicle and you're you know, you're prone because you get yoinked, they pull you over, right? And you're scared, so you don't say nothing, you just keep it to yourself, and then they find out later on, you know, after they've pulled everybody out or whatever, that you are on parole and you didn't offer that information up, that could be a violation. Holy fuck, this guy is a bug. Hold on. So that's just how it works. How long were you in the court system until sentencing? Thank you for the info. Great channel. Appreciate that. It depends, you know. Um, Canada is not a short wait system, especially if you don't get bail. You know, you can honestly, for a petty charge, sit for months, you know. Um, if you're fighting it, if you want to take it to trial, man, you're looking at years sometimes, depending on the seriousness of the case. Cheers, man. Happy Saturday. Crownick, what up? Yo, I hear you about the mans who defended his house from people who ran up. He got bailed out. He shouldn't even be charged for nothing. Canada is whack. That's a fact. But he did get bail, you know, which shows that they're looking at it as a crime of passion, you know, which most likely means it'll get dropped to like a, you know, discharge causing death or worst case manslaughter, which is still wrong. Got a phone call from Workworth to finally get a phone call from my brother doing life. It's been almost 8 years. He has my number, just waiting for that call. You already know, playa. Happy for you. You know? Yeah, it would be wrong to me too. You know, especially the fact that they're strapped. Like, okay, um, I could see where they would maybe have an argument in Canada if they were just kids, just doing a regular Bert and Ernie, and they weren't armed, right? Then of course, but in a circumstance like that, no, no, no. You know, everybody has a different response in a panic situation. You know, look at all these cop shootings. What do you think those are? Those are panic situations where they fight or flight responses, right? A lot of the time, when you're in a high state like that, especially if you're not used to it, you don't really know what you're doing. You're right, though, Terry. It is nuts. Not necessarily newborn. I've seen a dude get 2.5 for a man, and he actually taped the dude up and poured lime down his throat, or lye, until he died. So it was 100% premeditated, but because it was a crime of passion, he got 2.5 on top of some dead time. But this is Canada. You know, we don't legally have the right to hurt people here. You know, it doesn't matter if they're attacking you, which is crazy. But You're only allowed to use necessary force to get you out of the situation. So if you somehow could have got out of it, like say for instance, they know that he could have just ran out with the strap and run him out of the house or held them for the police or whatever, but he decided to bust and start off a whole chain of events, right? That is Canadian law, you know. Nick Bedard, man, I appreciate that. I don't know everything about Canadian law, but I definitely experienced it firsthand, and it can be beneficial in some ways, and in some ways it's annoying as hell. AJ, Planet 416, man, shout out to you. I've heard very few cases of Americans getting arrested in Canada, but in those instances, they would not get bail, right? Given that they can just escape back to the US, or am I wrong? It would depend on the circumstances. They may be given permission to actually go home. You know, there's an extradition treaty with the US, so they'll send you back, you know. And if it's something serious, they'll come for you too. Hugh, man, appreciate the 10 piece. Thank you very much. What's the healthcare like in prison? Sending good vibes from Ottawa. Good vibes to you, Mike. I'd say it's decent, man. You have access. So if you're in provincial, the dental is horrible and the healthcare is horrible. The access is there if it's an emergency for sure. But if it's not an emergency, then most likely you're going to be ignored, right? But in the federal system, you have access to psychiatrists, you have access to social workers, you have access to dental, optometry, surgeries. Like I had a surgery done on my shoulder when I was in the Ville. So yeah. Got any Canadian prison escape stories? No, not me personally, you know. No, because I'll tell you, most of the places that I did time in my life, you aren't escaping from. You're not. You know, you may have a shot from the Ville if you were like one of those super creative dudes, but man, it's tough. Rifle towers and vans driving around constantly with dudes with ARs and cameras with what's it called? FLIR, the FLIR cameras with the where they can test heat and all that stuff. Good luck, man. Dogs. So was never my thing, you know. You know, when I was in young offender and they put me into like a house, which was like an open custody, right? I would take off all the time because it's, you know, I just wasn't going to stay somewhere where I could walk away from at that time. But those decisions affected my life negatively a lot, to be honest. Those decisions made it impossible for me to ever see a camp, for me to ever get anywhere where there was an offense later on in my adult life. So good thing I'm done with all of it now. Flash Gordon escaped from a paddy wagon back in the day. Yeah, and I knew a guy. It's not my story to tell, and I don't know the exact story, but he was in a hospital after being booked on some gun and robbery shit, I think. And his homeboys ran up in the hospital with a Mac and busted him out armed. And he took off and got away. I don't think you can get out of a place like the Hearst, man. You can't. If you're on your block, no way. That ain't happening. Like the Hearst or Lindsay or the South, they're like fortresses. Just to get to the block, you got to walk down this hallway, go through this door and this door and this door just to get there. You know, even if you were somehow able to get out of the block, you got to then get out of the rest of the place. You know, and it's also out in the middle of nowhere. So, Nick, what's up? Who's that? He knows the name Clarky. But it happens. What do you mean? Is it the worst? Like as the most violent? No, no, no. That would be either the Haven or the Bay, because ultimately they're max. So even though a lot of the Haven is protective custody, it would probably still be worse. There's been a few bodies dropped there in the last couple of years. Somebody I know personally got charged with one of them. So there was also a body drop at the Bay, though. So I don't know, but I would say that the Ville, when it was actually like a jail, not a reception, it was definitely up there, top 2 or 3 in the province, because it was basically just overflow for max. A lot of those guys that were there should have been in max. They just didn't have the space in the unit. So anybody who was kind of like borderline, they just sent you to the Ville. London, Middlesex seems like a nasty place. Yeah, I did a video on it, Stealth Planet. It is a nasty place for sure, but it's not the inmate on inmate violence that you have to worry about. That's a place where you have to worry about the feds. Yo, Matt, did you hear Dylan Millard found guilty in connection with stabbing in the Haven? No. It doesn't surprise me. That's hilarious. Money talks, man. He definitely isn't a scary dude, but you'd be surprised. A lot of dudes that don't necessarily look scary, they're dangerous, man. Very few people are actually willing to get up close and personal to you and push a blade into you. So it takes a different kind of person, man. Carlos, what's up, man? No, I didn't even know until, we did talk about it a little bit, yeah. But I didn't know that till today. Where there's an escape, for how long do unlarge folks? When there's an escape, for how long do the at-large folks stay on the wanted status? Oh, they forever. Especially federal, forever. Shu Wu loves Boo Boo. Cheers from Kingston. 1 year clean and sober here. Congrats to your recovery. Yes, congrats to yours. I am definitely not sober, but I am in recovery. That's hilarious. I was watching a show last night about escapes. It was thinking, how would you escape CECC? But not possible. Now, a lot of these guys that escape are really smart, and they could find a way. Maybe there's a way that you could manipulate, like look at that dude that escaped from the bucket in BC, right? You have those kind of connections. Then maybe this door could somehow stay open and this camera is somehow shut off and nobody's looking at this door for a couple hours. Money talks, Yeah, see, Joe Bob, the Bay was when I was knocked, doing the majority of my time. The Bay was 90s into the very early thousands, 2000s. And then the Ville was like 2003, 2004 to 2012 was the gladiator school, The unit was always the worst, but yeah, bro, good for him. Hopefully things change in a law like that. Someone comes in your house, you got to deal with it. And I'm dealing with it. Do Canadian prisons have the prison wine in essence? Inmates make their own booze. Yeah, that's a fact. Hey, Matt, can you explain provincial sentencing and parole early release on a provincial sentence, like 18 months? So if you're doing 18 months provincial, you 100% are good. Well, no, sorry, not 100%. You should 100% get out at 2/3, so 1 year with no conditions. Okay. The way that it works in provincial is when you get out at your 2/3, there is no parole that you have to be on for the rest of your sentence. You're probably most likely going to have some probation tagged on to the end of your sentence. That's just kind of how it works. But the day you get out, you're done. The only way you can lose that 2/3 is if you get misconduct after misconduct, because a misconduct can be adjudicated with good days time lost. You understand? So sometimes they'll do things like you can't have canteen for a couple weeks. Sometimes they'll do things like you got to go to SEG and you don't get canteen. But sometimes if you keep doing things, they're going to start saying, okay, that's 5 days good time. That's 5 days good time. That's 5 days good time. You understand what I'm saying? So you ultimately could lose it all, but you most likely won't lose much, if any, if you're any kind of normal. Brother escaped from Cambridge bucket back in the 80s. He was caught 2 days later. That's a fact. Because when you escape from an actual joint, man, they're coming hard. You know, they're going to assume that you're going to have crazy thoughts and crazy intentions and not want to go back for no reason, you know? Drew, respect to Bruce County. Nick Bedard, canteen is commissary. So it's whatever they allow you to purchase on the inside out of your account on the inside. And yes, Steve, it's called brew or moonshine after you still it. So I'm on here for about 5 more minutes, guys. I love doing the lives with you. Maybe I'll do another one tomorrow. Stealth Parrot, man, thank you for the 10 piece. I appreciate that very much. It means the world, and I will keep it going. I've been busy, right? So it seems like maybe I'm not into it or something like that, but that's not the fact. That is not a fact. I love my channel, and it's going to keep going. We're almost at 10K, man. We're almost at 10K. If everybody who watches this live who's not subscribed was to subscribe, we might get there at the end of it. G code 365, GG. First offense gun charge. Can you get house arrest? If not, 18 months, 2 years. I think that the house arrest is good luck. You know, conditional sentence, I'd say good luck. Maybe if it's like a old busted up shoddy or something. But if it's a hand ting, I'd say 18 months to 3 years. Somewhere in that range. You know? That short of live stream? What do you mean? I don't understand. I took a plea for 30 months waiting to see if the judge will accept it. When do you think I can get out of on this Fed bid? So you would for sure get out at 20 months. You'd be on parole for the last 10 months. Anytime you violate, you go back for 2/3 of whatever you have left. It's possible that you could get out after 10 months on full parole, or even day parole, which means you have to go to a halfway house and stay there. Someone said I might not get much play since I would be an assessment for a few months and would be at my mother, the parole officer, to get to know me by 10 months, 12 months mark. Yeah. Profitable day on the stream today, Matt. You deserve it. 1 million more for this dynamic content, brother. Thank you very much, bro. You know, it's not about money for me, but money does help for sure. And you can never have enough, especially with the inflation and the cost of everything going up. You know what I mean? The gaming primate. Yo, sup, Matt? Have you also been hearing there's an increase in car theft? No, I haven't heard specifically, but I believe it. People are broke. I got you on now. Laptop wants email to chat. So I'm on phone. Haven't used email in years. Need a new one. Yeah. I don't understand. Sorry, I don't understand, Steve. Clarky, you still have that stink or whatever it's called? That stink? I'm on 28. It's got all my carries and I'm a Mason's reforman, but even going pick up my drinks. They're becoming a headache now. What do you mean you still have that stink? That's hilarious. I'm on 28 mils. How low you got to be to get the stint? Oh, you mean the in thing? The implant? 28 mils. I don't understand. Forced to use the phone. Yeah. I don't understand, Nick. Are you? I don't get it. I don't understand. 28 mils of what? You mean the implant is what you mean? You have to be on 4 or less, I think. Oh, they're talking to each other. Oh, okay. Anyways, I love you guys. I'm off of this. I love the lives. Maybe we will do another one in the next day or two. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely appreciate it. To everybody who's donated, man, I appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. You know, we just chill here. We're a real community. You know, it's been built from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? And we all kind of know each other, man. You know, of course, there's a lot of subscribers who don't get involved, but the ones that do, man, we built this community up and it's real. So subscribe to it. You learn a lot. And it's just great people, man. I love y'all. Good vibes only, man. That's how we roll. Yeah. You have to be 4, Nick. 4 or less. Now, there's a shot that you can get. It's a once a month shot. And you have to be on 8 for that. But I love y'all. You guys have a great and amazing day and Sunday. You already know, players.